Well, hello everybody. Welcome to P.B.M. Vending. And today I have really exciting news. The hat trick. Didn't even know it was a thing until it occurred to me today that I had done the equivalent of a hat trick in the credit game. Okay, so here's how it started. I've been doing a lot of studying and research and stuff on building my credit. And I've talked about it off and on. Up until last year I had a 770 credit rating. And then I went through and I got the house loan and car loan and some credit cards, and so the last time I checked it was down to 330-ish or 730-ish. So anyway, so here's how it started. Every year our ministry goes to this little credit union and I get a personal loan for, I don't know, $1,200, $1,500, whatever it is. And then I pay it off over the period of a year because our ministry is little, and I never seem to be able to save the money, but we make enough that I can pay the bill. So I just take the money at the beginning of the year and put it in the savings and do whatever and then pay it off as a bill. Okay, so I sent it off, did all the paperwork, got my check. And when my paperwork came, the loan officer from the credit union wanted to get some information about my car loan through Toyota because she wanted to see if she could get my car loan, which was fine, except she wanted a ton of information and I just didn't want to fool with it, to be honest. So I blew it off. And so anyway, one of the things that you're supposed to do is to get a copy of your credit bureau. Well, I did. And when I got it, I was really surprised because it said I had delinquencies on my account. I've never been late, as far as I know, on anything. So as soon as I got it and I saw it, I remembered what it was. And in a nutshell, there was 2 delinquencies on there, both from Toyota. And here's what happened. 4 years ago, I leased my vehicle from Toyota. They did not give me an address to mail a check to, or a coupon book, or anything in the mail, nothing. So my first payment came due, I wrote the check and sent it to the dealership. Nobody said anything, nothing was done, nothing was said. Next month came around, I wrote the check, sent it to the dealership. Finally, the business manager called me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm setting my payment." And he said, "Well, that goes to Toyota Lease, not to us." And I said, "Well, how in the world would I know that? You didn't give me any information about that." So and believe me, I had to actually take a day off of work to go down there and work this out. This guy was dumb as a box of rocks. And I had to get the owner of the company involved. So anyway, we got it all worked out, and I told the guy I wanted the dings off of my credit bureau, and he says, "You've got to contact Toyota Lease, I don't have anything to do with that." So I contacted Toyota Lease, and he said, "We got your payments, everything's fine, but we're not going to take that off. It didn't get to our office on time, and we're just not going to do that." And he really ticked me off, because I made my payments on time. The fact that he didn't get them and the business manager didn't give me the right address and didn't give me the proper information is not my problem. I still wrote the check. I actually took copies of the check into the business manager with the dates that they were cashed and written. And that still wasn't good enough. So they left it on my credit report. That was the delinquencies. So when I saw that, I called the loan officer back up and I said, "Hey," and I told her the story. I said, "Why don't you send me that paperwork, and if you guys are even close, I'm gonna give you the business." So she sent it in. I filled out the paperwork, and then on the back, she wanted to know what extras my car had. I don't know. So I wrote on the back, I said, if you need any additional information, give me a call. And by the way, I've had a credit card with you guys since 2010, and my credit limit has never been increased. Could you check into that for me? Because I called Visa to try to get that up. Now, why did I do that? Well, one of the things the credit bureau said was, this was the oldest credit card I had, but the credit limit was $3,000. It had never been raised. And I was trying to pay it down because one of the recommendations is that you keep your utilization rate under 10%. Well, I was running 50% on this card. I had $1,500, so I mailed in a $500 check this month, write one next month, and we'll get it down. And I thought, well, there's two ways to do that. Rather than only writing a check, if I could get them to raise the credit limit, that would be great. So I wrote it down. So she got my paperwork in yesterday, and so she called me and asked me a bunch of questions about the car, and she wanted to know the interest rate and something else, and I didn't have a clue. So I came home last night and I tore my apartment apart, couldn't find anything, but I found my receipt that they mail to me every month. Yes, now they mail me one. Okay, whatever. So anyway, I called her this morning and I gave her the information, and I didn't say anything about the credit card. We got done with that conversation. She says, by the way, we're going to raise your credit limit. It was $3,000. We're going to raise it to $6,000. I said, okay, cool. So my credit utilization without the $500 check went from 50% to 25% because they doubled the credit limit. And now I'm going to pay it down, and when I get it down to below $500, we'll be under 10%. That's great. So, and I asked her yesterday, I said, I'm trying to work on my credit bureau. So if you could just use the credit bureau from when I got my personal loan and copy it for the credit card, that would be great. And she said, okay, no problem. So from one credit bureau, I got the personal loan, my credit line increased, and an auto loan if the numbers are good. So now a hat trick in hockey is where one person scores 3 goals in one game. So here in the credit game, we got one credit bureau pull 3 different lines of credit at one time. The hat trick. Didn't even know it was possible, but we got a thing going. And just so you know, I have been brainstorming all morning. I think I'm done as far as things I can actively do to increase my credit score. Now, one of the, and this is what I'm thinking, I was going to, because right now I'm doing the spin down on trying to get rewards on two of the new cards I got. But when that's done, I'm going to have 3 active cards. One my daughter's going to have, one is going to be my everyday card, and one of them is going to be groceries and gas. And one of the dings on my credit bureau was I had too many cards with balances on them. And I only had one that I carried, but I learned that that's not statement to statement, it's reporting date to reporting date. So one of the things that all the guys recommend is that you find out when each company reports to the credit bureau, and then you have an automatic payment taken out a couple of days before, so it looks like a zero balance or a low balance. And I'm going to do that, I think, eventually, but I don't think I'm going to do that immediately. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go, because I had 2 or 3 before, and I had a 770. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like wait a year or so and see where I'm at. Because at that point I ought to have just 3 cards with balances. Everything else ought to be paid off. I mean, with credit cards, I mean. So, well, I think what I'm just going to wait and see what happens, and then go in and decide, do I want, which one do I want to have, the 0 balance or the lower balance, and then see how much of a difference that makes in my credit score pretty quickly. So, but other than that, I mean, I got the cards. I've got 2 cards that are old. I got 3 or 4 that are brand new, so my age of accounts was cut in half. But we got the utilization way down on the one that was really weighing me down. So, and we got high credit limits, and so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next 3 months just getting the spend down on the two new ones with the rewards. We'll get the rewards, put that money in the bank, or pay off credit, something. And then we'll just do life and see what happens and watch my score. Now I've got 2 credit card companies that will give me my score monthly, so I don't have to go back in and double check. But and I know they're not completely accurate, but it'll be close. And so, but that's where we are. We pulled off a hat trick. I would be willing to bet that doesn't happen too often. So I wanted to get on today and share that. I think it's kind of cool. And the cool thing is, it wasn't 3 different credit cards. It was 3 different lines of credit: a personal loan, a credit card increase, and an auto loan from 1 credit bureau. Nice hat trick. So that's how I pulled off a hat trick in the credit game. If you have done that before, or if you've heard about that, let me know. I would be interested to hear that. Well, you guys have a great day out there, and happy vending.